Good day, Internet. This is Josh with Two Wheel Escapes coming to y'all again with another video. Today, I'm actually going to be going over a very popular question that I'm asked here on the YouTube channel about why did I choose to ride the 6-speed manual versus the DCT model. So let me first start with the story as it progressed. In 2018, I had a Kawasaki Concourse that I had went to the mountain a couple times with, but it was comfortable, but it was not a long distance touring style motorcycle. So I started looking into the market for different either cruisers or touring bikes that would accommodate the type of riding that I wanted to do to the mountains, up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway, motorcycle camping, stuff like that. And I come across 3 separate bikes that I was looking into, and one was the Yamaha Transcontinental. That was a new bike for 2018. The second one was the BMW 2018 BMW GTL 1600, and then I come across the new style Goldwing for bike number 3. I took the time to go and ride the Transcontinental Yamaha Cruiser, and very quickly realized that was not the bike for me. The engine released too much heat off the engine area. I'm coming from the sport bike scene. I was able to, trying to go around corners and stuff. I'm used to being able to lean further than I could with the Transcontinental. So with that being said, that bike was out. So my next option was the BMW GTL 1600, which is a beautiful bike. But when I rode it, I went to a BMW dealership and I rode it. There was a pocket of air behind the windscreen that was very stagnant, and regardless of what you tried to do to get some kind of wind or ventilation to you, you could not. So even though it was still on the top, one of the top of the list for choices that I would have had, I had found out that they actually were going to have demo rides at Daytona Bike Week, which was around the same time that I was looking for these motorcycles. So as the Daytona Bike Week kicked into session, the first Friday that they kicked into session, I showed up there by myself very early in the morning and got on a list to be able to ride. Unfortunately, I was not able to get on a DCT model, the only one they had available, because everybody had already claimed the DCT models. The only one I had available was the clutch, the 6-speed manual. So with that, I decided to go ahead and ride it, obviously, to see what I liked about it. And it ticked off all the things that I wanted, with, even though the storage space was smaller from the previous year Honda Goldwing, I had never had a trunk. I had side saddles, but I never had a trunk. So to me, it was plenty enough. So it would have been the ideal bike for the type of riding that I wanted to ride. What I did is the next day I scheduled for first thing in the morning to take my wife down there, and I actually put a hold on one of the DCT models so that I could ride one of them. So I got down to Daytona Bike Week on that next Saturday morning with my wife bright and early, and got a chance to get on the DCT. And this was my takeaway. The DCT model is great. When I was riding it, the upshifting was spot on. It was very smooth transition. Obviously, there was a learning curve. I was ghost clutching like crazy because I'm used to having clutch work on a bike. But it wasn't really too much of a problem. It was when I started to slow down is when I started encountering things that I didn't like about the bike. When I would slow down, I know you could manually bump the buttons and the up or down shifter, and it'll shift for you. But I didn't put it in manual mode. I was letting the bike do its thing. And what I noticed about the downshifting is it was unexpected. It was very grabby, and every time it would downshift, it would jar you. And my wife sitting behind me on the bike, her helmet was constantly hitting mine. And for those of you that ride with a passenger, you probably know what I'm talking about. I tried the sport mode, I tried the touring mode, I tried the rain mode. The downshifting still remained the same, and I just didn't like that sensation. I did try the manual a little bit, but to me it wasn't as interactive as I'm used to with a motorcycle. So going back to the day prior to that, when I rode the current bike that I own now, I like to be very involved with the riding experience itself, which is including the clutch work and the shifting, downshifting into corners, rolling out of corners with acceleration, accelerating off of a stop. I prefer to have that immersive feeling of being in the ride. So the option that I went with was the 6-speed, mainly number one because it's something I was used to, number two because the type of riding I planned on doing, riding in the mountains and down corners and stuff, I wanted to be able to have the ability to be in total control of the downshifting, like I'm doing right now, heading to the stop sign, doing engine braking and stuff like that. To me, I feel safer doing so, and I know when the bike's going to shift, and I can control how fast it slows down with the engine braking. And the same goes for the acceleration. Being able to hold the clutch in, get a little bit more torque on my acceleration, the downshifting that I need to do. Hopefully that answers the question about why I chose my 6-speed over the DCT. DCT is a wonderful feature. It just wasn't for me. I just like to be in complete and utter control of the motorcycle, knowing when it's going to shift, like I said before. So without having to repeat myself, that's pretty much the reason why I decided to go with the 6-speed. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Click that icon down in the right hand bottom of the screen. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I usually respond to questions and comments within 24 to 48 hours. So thank you all again for joining me today. For now, this is Josh with Two Wheel Escape signing out. Y'all be safe. Peace.